It started subtly, as these things often do. A text message that made her jump when I walked into the room. A sudden need for privacy when taking calls. At first I brushed it off. We'd been married for 7 years, and trust was the bedrock of our relationship, or so I thought. My wife, Sarah, was a driven career woman, a marketing executive at a big firm downtown. Long hours were part of her job description, and I'd always been her biggest supporter. But lately, working late had become her nightly mantra. The excuses became more frequent, more elaborate. Emergency client meeting, she'd text. Last-minute project deadline. I'd make dinner, eat alone, and by the time she'd get home, I'd usually be half asleep on the couch. She'd tiptoe in, smelling faintly of perfume that wasn't her usual scent, and a strange, almost electric energy buzzing around her. She'd kiss my forehead and whisper she was sorry. That work was just crazy. I wanted to believe her, I really did. I loved her. I loved the life we had built. But a seed of doubt had been planted, and it was starting to grow, twisting its roots around my heart. The turning point came on a Tuesday. She called me around 6, her voice a little too bright, a little too cheerful. Hey honey, just letting you know I'm going to be super late tonight. We're trying to land this huge new account, and the whole team is pulling an all-nighter. Just don't wait up for me, I said. Okay, told her to be safe, and hung up. The familiar hollow feeling settled in my stomach. I decided to do something I hadn't done in years. I called her office landline. I just needed to hear the background noise, the chatter of colleagues, something to reassure me. The phone rang and rang, finally going to the automated operator. The office was closed. Everyone had gone home at 5. My blood ran cold. The lie was so blatant, so careless. Where was she? My mind raced through a dozen terrible scenarios. Was she with a friend? Was she in trouble? Or was she with someone else? The thought was a physical blow, knocking the wind out of me. I sat there in the dark, the silence of our home amplifying the roaring in my ears. I knew I couldn't just sit and wait. I needed proof. I needed to see it with my own eyes, even if it shattered my world. I remembered she had once mentioned a new bar that her team loved going to for drinks after a big project. It was called the Gilded Lily, a trendy spot downtown. It was a long shot, but it was the only lead I had. My hands trembled as I grabbed my car keys. Every mile I drove felt like a mile closer to a truth I was unsure I could handle. The city lights blurred through my tear-filled eyes. I parked a block away and walked towards the bar, my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. I peered through the large glass window, my breath fogging up the cold pain. And then I saw her. She was sitting at a cozy corner table, bathed in the warm, dim light. She wasn't with her team. She was with one man. He was laughing, his hand resting casually on her arm. And Sarah. She was looking at him with an expression I hadn't seen on her face in years. A look of pure, unadulterated adoration. It was a look she used to give me. As I watched, she leaned in and kissed him. It wasn't a quick, friendly peck. It was a long, lingering kiss filled with a passion and intimacy that had long since faded from our own marriage. In that moment, everything shattered. The 7 years we'd built, the vows we'd made, the future we'd planned, it all crumbled into dust. It wasn't just the lie about working late. It was the hundreds of little lies that had preceded it. It was the stolen moments, the shared glances, the secret life she was living right under my nose. Her lies had arrived home long before she ever did. They had been sitting at our dinner table, sleeping in our bed, and whispering doubts into my ear for months. I didn't storm in. I didn't make a scene. I just turned around and walked away. The cold night air felt like a slap in the face, waking me from the nightmare I'd been living in. I drove home on autopilot. The image of her kiss burned into my memory. When she finally came home around 2 a.m, reeking of alcohol and another man's cologne, she found me sitting on the couch, her packed bags by the door. She started with the usual excuses, her eyes wide with fake surprise. What's all this, honey? I told you I was working. I cut her off. Sarah, you weren't. You were at the Gilded Lily. Her face went pale. The color drained from her cheeks as the final lie unraveled. There were tears, pleas, and a torrent of apologies, but the words were empty. The trust was gone, irrevocably broken. The woman I loved had become a stranger, and our home had become a house of lies. That night was the end of our marriage, but it was the beginning of me finding my way back to the truth. The pain of betrayal is immense, and if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, know that your feelings are valid. It's a lonely road, but it's one you don't have to walk alone. Talking to friends, family, or a professional therapist can make all the difference. It's okay to not be okay, and it's essential to seek support to help you heal and rebuild. Finding the truth can be heartbreaking, but it's also liberating. It allows you to close a painful chapter and start writing a new one based on honesty and self-respect. Thanks for listening to my story. Please like, share, and subscribe for more content. Take care of yourselves.